Veteran advocate Peter Martin has been on a mission to find the missing names of veterans buried in Transcona's Field of Honor. Out of the 325 veterans buried there, 15 were missing markers. After doing some research, the veterans buried there were slowly getting their names back, and that's how a local man discovered his own grandfather was one of the unmarked graves. Will Gault found his grandfather's grave thanks to Peter Martin, and today the two men are meeting for the first time here on CTV Morning Live. Joining us now are veteran advocate Peter Martin and Will Gault. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Now, meeting each other for the first time, we're going to get to the crux of the story.
Yeah.
But what was that like, meeting each other for the first time?
I just felt so excited about actually putting a face to the discovery that we made, and just felt so good meeting a new person who's connected to the things I'm doing. So it's really nice to meet you.
Yeah, I felt very grateful, for all the work Peter's done, in discovering my grandfather and stuff. So it was a humbling, kind of emotional experience, and just glad it happened.
Absolutely. Okay, so Peter, let's take it back a little bit. When did you first discover there was names missing in the cemetery?
Okay, so very quickly, the steps I took. We have the No Stone Left Alone at the Transcona Cemetery.
Yeah.
I bring over 600 students to place a poppy on the grave of veterans, every veteran in the Field of Honor. So every year for the last 10 years, I brought 600 students out. So last year, the president of the Last Post Fund, Matt Halpin, happened to be there, and he's a friend of mine, and he did a little bit of an analysis and check on the cemetery, and he said, you know what, he discovered some unmarked graves. They were just known as 290 and 301, but nothing else. So I checked with the Jansen O'Donnell administration for the cemetery, and he said, you know what, those two numbers are actually where the remains of two veterans who served World War II and Korea are buried, but no name identifying them. So they've been missed. No poppy, no student recognizing them for over 23 years.
Wow.
I was devastated. So first of all, I applied for permanent markers. I then did some research trying to find the family of these two soldiers. Yeah. And I also had a friend, Joe Sapp, make crosses, so we can at least mark them now and not forget them anymore, and put a little note on the crosses. And then CTV did a story about these crosses and these markers, and then all the things opened up. I got the family, I contacted family. Wow. And then the serendipity moment occurred when I had contact from Will.
So Will, meanwhile, you're watching the news.
Yeah.
And so you've been doing your genealogy for a few years, trying to figure out the roots to your family.
Actually, I just kind of started in October.
Okay.
So I ended up with, through my stepsister, getting my grandfather's obituary for the genealogy research and stuff like that. So when I saw the news story, the name rang a bell to me, because I just started doing this in October, and sure enough, I pulled it up on my phone, the obituary, and I'm like, I think that's my grandpa.
So the name was William Chester.
William Howard Chester, yeah.
Okay, and so what did you know about your grandfather? And
not a lot. Okay. I knew it was, there was some talk about a dairy farm in Transcona. I knew he was a veteran to a certain extent. But I didn't know too much, because I grew up with my grandparents on my mom's side, so I actually never met my biological dad till I was almost 20.
And so then you reach out to Peter and you're, hey, I think this is my grandfather.
100%, yeah. I shared this story through my social media platform, thanking Peter and Joe for the work they've done, selflessly, to put a name to these two gentlemen who have served our country. And it kind of just started from there, and it was definitely an emotional evening, and I still have those moments, just because I'm able to, identify and relate a little more to, someone who's I never met, who has made a sacrifice for our country, and deserves to be honored. And it'd be nice to show my children, that their great grandpa, and he has a safe resting place, and he's somebody now, not just a marker.
Right. And so, Peter, when you hear Will say this, what does it mean to you? Well,
it means, like, we're going to have this permanent marker in. It's going to be very soon. As soon as that happens, then I'm bringing the family together. We're going to do a ceremony there, and I'm just excited to have all the families meet and honor this person who served our great country, and is going to be recognized. And just having them all there and meeting each other, and for sure, the students next year will be standing by that grave, honoring with the poppies like they should have done the last 20 years. In fact, I put 20 poppies on each of the graves to make up for the last 20 years of them being missed. So I personally put those poppies on. And it's sad, and it just shows you that we got to be vigilant and looking for graves and making sure we're honoring our veterans and thanking them and not having their names noted there. Well, you can't honor somebody you don't know. All you know is 29301 for all these years. So now we get a chance to say that Mr. Chester, he served this country, World War II and Korea.
So, Will, knowing that your grandfather finally has his name back, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. It means, you know, I'm super thankful that the connection I made with Peter, watching the news at the right time, starting my genealogy test at the right time, you know, it just kind of all the pieces of the puzzle came together. And, you know, it's extended family now that, you know, I'm going to be able to go, you know, and pay my respect to, and, you know, bring my children and let them know about the history of their great grandpa. So it's, you know, it's more than just putting a marker on a grave. It's also a reunification of, you know, the history of a family I lost and never really got to meet.
Well, thank you for sharing this story with us. We really appreciate both of you taking the time today, and I'm so glad you got to meet on our show.
And I want to be part of their family now.
Oh.
Maybe adopted part of your family. Because we met and we're friends now for life.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Because of your show and because of the connection.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, and thank you so much for sharing this with us.